So, I have this thing. I mean, everybody has this thing, but like, to a degree. So I have called it being CDO, even though it's technically OCD. I'm just really CDO about certain things, such as how clean certain things are. And despite the fact that I am the way with certain things, like I used to have a filing cabinet. My house in Carrollton, Texas, had a filing cabinet for all of my paperwork in comparison to what I deal with now. Had that filing cabinet in San Antonio as well, because I prefer to have my paperwork as organized as possible. However, being in an apartment and everything that's gone on recently, it's one of those, all right, I will make do with what I have to make do with. And whatchamacallit, I had file folders, and you could compare it to hospital stuff in certain regards, despite how the last video in reference to the receipts were but kind of an example of the specific envelopes. That was how I had always been ever since my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. Had my filing cabinets, I had my system, I had the little tab things where I labeled everything. So in comparison, I've had to, put the paperwork into envelopes for ease and not necessarily as organized as I prefer. But better than nothing, right? I mean, at least, taking it into the IRS, not that I need to, but, well, I have, but not more recently, at least in that regard. It's one of those, despite the fact that it's in an envelope, at least it's all by year. Not by month, but realistically, the majority of stuff is easy to separate into 3 sections because all the little receipts are from the traveling. And so that's however many weeks or however many months, and that's it. And then, the McClendon stuff, it's whenever dropping them off or picking them up. Because my first time of taking the pieces for my Medal of Honor art project into McClendon's to be completed, I had to put a deposit down. I was like, okay, no problem. I'm very serious about this art project, so I'll put the deposit down and make sure that you guys know. And I paid for, I think it was like a $500 deposit just to be on the safe side for materials and time and stuff like that. Then afterwards, it kind of, they knew that I was always going to come back in and I was going to go and pay. And I never opened a business account there because I have this thing where I'd rather be able to pay it off and not have to worry about debts. So, and realistically, the percentage off that I would have gotten for my business account was the same as a military discount. So, less paperwork. That was my math. It was less paperwork for, had any of the other stuff that was associated with my Medal of Honor art project. Not specifically, but because of the same business aspect, just all in one. And so, I tried really, really, really hard to make it as streamlined as possible, despite not necessarily the most organized in certain other ways. I tried. That being said, when it comes to cleaning, I am extremely CDO on cleanliness. I will bleach every single day. There are times where I will bleach twice a day. Or 3 times, depending. And so I'm really just, I am the way I am. And bring that up for those who have watched prior videos know that this is going to be a little bit of a roundabout, as usual, right? Because unless I state that it's going to be a short video, it's not going to be, it's not going to be less than 20 minutes. Or unless reading from the, yeah, not going to be less than 20 minutes. And so, but at least I'm honest, right? So, I did that the way I do when being a stay-at-home mom and taking care of my son and my daughter. I wanted to make sure, you know, everything was clean, and those who have children know how quickly messes can be made. And instead of, well, I'll get to that later. No, I can't, no. Gotta take care of that right now. Just, can't not. I can't. Now, and that trash, that sort of just can't. I just can't. So, I am the way I am. And so, and with the headaches and migraines, and then the memory deficits, could easily forget. So, second I notice it, it's one of those, let me clean it right now. Well, if I clean this, like in my thoughts, if I clean only this one spot where there was a spill, well, then it's uneven for the rest of the counter. I acknowledge, I'm very CDO. And then, you know, well, this counter, it's still in the same kitchen as this counter, so I might as well, and then the whole kitchen gets cleaned. And so I wound up getting involved with that Jade Wolf Coven. And Mike, Christine's husband at the time, had asked if I could help his wife, who was a stay-at-home mom, mind you. Christine was a stay-at-home mom for her 3 children, to help clean the house while I had my son and my daughter. Okay. Sure, I mean, I could help. And this was before my first separation from my now dead ex-husband. And so, okay, well, I looked to see what cleaning supplies there were. None at all. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have cleaning supplies? And Christine looked at me and she goes, oh, I have vinegar. Okay. What's that supposed to do? And she said, oh, it's natural. And she got all like snobby. She was like, how do you not know what vinegar is? No, I know what vinegar is. It's how you make pickles. Like taking cucumbers and making pickles, or, you know, taking beets and making pickled beets, or taking certain things like, you know, I'm half Chinese. I grew up eating authentic Chinese food. So, you know, pickled chicken's feet, pickled pig's feet, you know, stuff like that. Like I'm accustomed to what vinegar is for food. Why would you use food stuff to clean? That doesn't make any sense. And she looked at me, she's like, how do you not see how much better it is? You're using vinegar, which is used for food, right? Well, yeah, I guess you could use vinegar for food. I guess. No, I gave you a few examples of where you use vinegar specifically for food. for food. Well, obviously Christine in that, right? Well, impersonation, of course. Though I would guesstimate people who know her or who have met her could very much testify how spot on in certain regards that impersonation is. Well, I mean, why do you have to use cleaning chemicals? I mean, seriously. I mean, vinegar does just as much to clean. No. Vinegar does just as much and more in reference to food preparation and cooking. That's what vinegar does. Oh, it's also in salad dressings. And I start listing a few others, and she's just, like, why? And it's ironic that she was a dirty blonde in the cleaning comments. Stating facts. And so she goes on and on and on about how, like, vinegar is organic. And I'm like, yeah, vinegar is organic because it's food. Food. Dinner. Snacks. Vinegar could be used for, like, seasonings, like salad dressing. And, preservation of food, like pickling. And, all this sort of stuff. But not for cleaning. I mean, is it an antibacterial? And she goes, well, I don't know. I'm like, So then I go to my house, I get some of my cleaning supplies, I start cleaning. I'm like, And then she's watching me clean while watching TV as I take care of my children as well as hers. Okay, whatever. That's when I got the explanation of her opinion as to what Satanism was. I was like, sweetheart, no, you got that wrong. You got that wrong. No. So, and isn't it ironic, scuba and Satan, if you look at, like, actual aspects of, like, the traditional meaning for the spiritual aspect of Satanism, and you look at scuba diving, there's certain similarities when you think of it, and then irony, my name is Susan. Anyway, so, Christine went on, and I'm just cleaning and stuff like that. And this is over multiple days. I'm going to turn the air conditioner on real quick because it's getting a little warm. Which is ironic, as I'm talking about, and I'm talking about that, right? Although the further down you go in the ocean, the colder it tends to be. So, by technicalities, right? Anyway, so as I'm doing the cleaning, stuff like that, Christine starts doing this, and people who especially smokers or vapors, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, the fake cough, where, it's nowhere near them. And, and as a real quick side note, I was coming out of Hobby Lobby one day. I was coming out of my car to go into Hobby Lobby. But I didn't finish my cigarette, so I stayed over on the corner, nowhere near the entrance, nowhere remotely close to the entrance. Those who have ever been to a Hobby Lobby know how far the corner of the building to the entrance is. Standing there just smoking, getting ready to go in. My children were at school, so didn't have to worry about that at that time. They were being taken care of. See this dirty blonde older female walking out of the Hobby Lobby. And as soon as she sees me, where I am, far away, at more than 20 feet away from the door, much more than 20 feet away from the door, and it was a larger Hobby Lobby, by the way. It wasn't one of the, like, yeah, the people who know Hobby Lobby know what I'm talking about. So, she comes out, she sees me, and she goes, bless you. There she got my cigarette. Then she walks closer to me. Probably get that checked out, but you know, bless you or whatever. She gets closer to me. Should probably cover your mouth if you're not faking it. Probably even if you are. But anyway, continue smoking. I get to the point where I'm like, well, I'm just going to light another one up because... Oh, wait, no. I was vaping. That's right. I was vaping at the time. That's right. I was vaping. That's right. So I was vaping. And at that point, I was like, I want a real one. So I got into my purse, got out a real cigarette. And she's like, you know, I hadn't lit it yet. I forgot the first e-cigarettes I had looked like cigarettes. And they even had the orange little light at the end. And so, you know, she comes over and she's like, you really should not be smoking. Excuse me. Who are you? Are you my mom? No. Well, I don't listen to her anyway. You my dad? No. I don't listen to him anyway. You related to me at all? No. It's okay. I don't listen to them anyway. That don't matter. Are you a friend of mine that I consider like family? No. I know because I don't recognize you. So, you know, are you a friend of mine? No. Okay, well, because I don't recognize you. Okay, so you are you, right? And the female was like, yes, I am. And she said whatever her name was, some BS nobility crap. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. And I mean that in the Anna sort of way. What does that mean now? You don't want to find out. You don't want to know what that means, I'm telling you. So I continued vaping, and the battery was about to go out anyway, which was part of the reason why I was getting an actual cigarette. And she looks at me, she goes, you should stop smoking. I'm like, this is actually a vape. But if you want to complain about water vapor, I'll give you something to complain about. And she's like, well, you should do this. And am I over 21 years old? No, I'm sorry. Am I over 18 years old? Well, yes. Okay, so I'm over 18 years old. I couldn't get a tattoo if I wasn't over 18, correct? Yeah, you shouldn't have tattoos. Who are you as a female or anyone to tell me what I can and cannot do with my own body? You have no idea why I have any of my tattoos. Do not start with me. And so, and people can understand why I every now and then miss the warmth of the flame. And so, it's not the first one that I had dealt with like that, just the first one that had come that far to come at me. And I was like, So, you know, if you want to continue complaining, I'm about to give you something to complain about. Best back off. She stepped closer. Vaped real quick. And I don't normally do this. People who have seen me vape, smoke, stuff like that, if there is a non-smoker or a non-vapor, I do everything I can to get the vape or the smoke away. Like, I will reposition where I stand so that way I'm not disrespecting them or anything like that. This female was obviously all up in my business. I think you should back off. She wouldn't stop. She kept yip, 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 yip. Took a real big puff. Are you melting? feels it's water vapor, right? I think you should leave me alone. Like I said before. Because if you don't take that warning, I got something you're actually going to complain about. Yup. Blah, 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 blah. Finish pulling out my cigarette, light that up, and then she saw the cigarette then, and she was like, oh, and by then it was, now you can cough. And she, because her mouth was open, I was like, oh, see, I thought you were faking that little thing before. Now I see you were. You probably shouldn't, put yourself in somebody else's business if, you don't know what's going to happen, even if you got the warnings. So, skadoodle. I want to finish my cigarette in peace, otherwise I'm going to have to light another one. And I'll just keep lighting cigarettes until I'm calm enough to go into the store. So, could you leave me alone? And so she toddled off and went wherever she went. I don't care. Finish the cigarette, go inside the Hobby Lobby. Now, returning and circling back around to Christine and that whole thing. So I start cleaning and do the different cleaning each day and stuff like that. And one day, Christine walks over to where I am and she goes, yes. Like, can't you use vinegar instead? This point, I think it was like 2 weeks in, I look at her and I go, didn't you say you went to go get your nursing degree, but you failed out of the college? She looks at me and she goes, what does that have to do with anything? The fact that you are asking me to use vinegar to clean shows me one of many reasons why you failed to become a nursing assistant or a nurse at all. What is that supposed to mean? Because in a hospital, they don't use vinegar except for in the cafeteria. And they don't use the vinegar to clean. Well, at that point in time, she starts going off about how she doesn't like the smell of the cleaning supplies and how it's so disgusting, this, that, and the other. Well, Mike came home from work early, and he walks in and he goes, oh, this smells so good in here. And he's like, oh, you finally came here to clean. It's like, no, I've been cleaning, like, you asked me to. For the past 2 weeks, I just have never been at the house when you got home. And he looks at Christine. Christine starts complaining, and she's like, she won't use vinegar, and blah, blah, blah. And he looks at her, and he looks at me, and he goes, so you've actually been cleaning? Yeah. Why? He goes, what time do you usually leave? And I was like, well, depending on the day and how much, your wife continues to do what she's been doing. Depends on whether I get out of here quickly or, here. But, I look at the clock and I'm like, you're here, like, well, I've only been here for half an hour. So I'm just in the beginning portions of cleaning. And he was like, why doesn't it smell like this when I get to the house? I'm like, I don't know, ask your wife. Don't ask me. I don't know what she does up in here, but tell you, I've only done part of the kitchen. I haven't even gotten into the bathroom yet. And he's like, why are you complaining, Christine? And she was like, oh, I just don't like the smell of bleach. And Susan was mean to me. And he goes, what'd she say? She goes, I can't. She starts crying, goes on the couch. I said that the reason why, told him right then and there, I'm like, the reason why she's crying is because I told her I could see why she failed out of nursing school. And he goes, Well, why is that? Because she prefers to clean with vinegar instead of cleaning supplies. Vinegar is for food. It attracts bugs because it's for food. It's not a bug repellent the way cleaning supplies are. Cleaning supplies, because of the chemicals, ironically, are naturally going to repel bugs. But if you use organic stuff, it's going to attract bugs because, you know, it's organic. It's for food. It's not for cleaning. You can make organic cleaning supplies, but it's not really organic. It's an oxymoron for that. And they still don't repel bugs the way natural cleaning supplies do. Irony of that oxymoron in that explanation. And he looks at me and he goes, what do you mean? I go, well, you know, do you ever see when certain chemicals are used, how no issues? Yeah, okay. But if you use like only vinegar, I get like exterminators and this and that. Usually have not only bugs, but then you have animals and critters and gross. He's like, yeah, well, there you go. You use cleaning supplies, you don't have to worry about that. So, I've had little creepy crawlies that have recently shown up. And the only time I have ever seen bugs show up when I have cleaned is in an apartment setting where I am the only person or the only person in the connecting points that uses actual cleaning supplies. So like at minimum, the people in 736, the people in 725, if they're cleaning, today is the 14th of April, 2020, by the way, if they are cleaning, if they are cleaning, they are using organic. Ew. I don't like bugs. I'm really CDO about cleanliness. So CDO about cleanliness. Now I'm going to go into one other thing. Area of discussion. So, I was volunteering in a location in Seattle. When I first started volunteering, I had done, you know, the towel area, got all the towels set up, did the different, as I call them, condiments, because those who know the vicinity know condiments is a very good term. You know, all that sort of stuff. No big deal. No problem. One day, because I was told that they had cleaners come in to the location to like take care of the floors and the bathroom areas, the shower. I was like, when do they do that? Like, is that an everyday thing or only when open? And they're like, no, it's once a week. What? Yeah, it's just once a week. What? Yeah, it's once a week. What? Does the company that cleans, is it a part of the building complex? Or is it a private cleaner? And I was told that it was part of the building complex. I'm like, well, one, if they're coming in here, they're not doing the shower or the latrine or bathrooms, whatever. And they're like, yeah, no, they're not. I can smell it. Oh, Susan, no, I'm telling you, I can smell it. So do they know what the business is where I was volunteering at? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't think they're coming in to clean. And, well, what would make you think that? I said, okay, I have a feeling that the easiest place for me to show you would be the actual shower. And they were like, okay, because there were a couple of people. Walk over to the shower, and I'm like, do you smell that? And they're like, no, I don't smell anything. I'm like, how do you not smell that? How do you not smell that? And they were just, nothing. And so there was this fold down seat area. And I'm like, no. So I kicked the seat up, and there was red mold growing. And I was like, yeah. And everyone that was there went, and I'm like, yeah, so do you mind if I use a specialty type of cleaning stuff in there? I'm not going to be able to do it today, but, you know, tomorrow I can come back with some cleaning stuff, and I will get rid of that before the event begins. They were like, yes, please. I'm like, all right, I can do that. I got you. No problem. And so they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. How long have you guys been in it? I don't want to know. I don't need to know. So next day, and I say day because you know the volunteer aspect. I show up. I brought like 3 bottles because I was like, I'm gonna be I don't know how long it is. So I start cleaning. I started with the floor because, you know, it's gonna go back down to the floor anyway when getting to the walls. And so I was like, well, if it's extra super duper sanitized, better than not. So I did the floor first, every single tile, every single area of grout, everything. Then I went up each individual of the 3 walls, every area possible. And then the shower curtains and everything, just, it would take the rest of the time for that stuff to dry. And I'd watch it, and I know it's not a scientific or medical term, but I'd watch the Oobie goobies, you know, just, you know, slide down, like, ew, and then, you know, they like get sanitized, and it's like, that's right, die, die, germs, die. I don't care. Ew, ew, gross. And so, you know, before I finished cleaning the shower, that red mold was gone. That because I sprayed the floors and then I sprayed that folding seat. Red mold was gone before I finished one wall. It's like, that's right. That's right. And so a couple of the other individuals there, they come around the corner and they're like, what is that smell? It smells so nice. That's called clean. That's what that smell is. The smell is called clean. That's what that is. Look, no more red mold. And they're like, oh wow, I'm not done cleaning yet. But glad you like the smell, because, you know, it's clean. Don't have to worry about nothing. And so, just every time I went in, it was one of those, okay, I'll take care of the towels and stuff, do this, do that. Well, it got to the point where a bunch of the volunteers were like, Susan, yes, we did all this other, just take care of the shower. And it's like, but I enjoy doing the towels too, but okay, you know, that's fine. I'll take care of the shower. We did all of them. Good. Awesome. I would have come in so early, but, you know, okay, that's cool. We can you know, hang around and talk, no problem. I'll go take care of the shower. Just realized right now. And it's just one of those, that's cool, we can go talk, that's fine. No, and not in the Anna sort of way, but in the, you know, and that's what usually happened. We'd sit around and talk, you know, because, you know, everybody came to work together and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I got the shower, you know, and go clean out the front a little bit, set up the curing. That was the 2 things that I wound up taking care of the most, was the curing, the coffee and tea refills, and the candy in the front, and some of the paperwork, and then the shower. And then if the towels weren't done, I took care of the towels. Everybody else took care of all the others. I was like, all right, that's cool. Because I couldn't take care of some of the stuff because of issues with my cognitive and memory shit. And then the vertigo issues as well. So, do all the cleaning. Well, first year of volunteering there, I went, I was already doing my Medal of Honor art project by that time. So, and I was gone. The first week for Oregon I wasn't gone for the weekend because I was back in time. But the week that I went to Montana was, the weekend. I think only one day I wasn't there. I go back because come back, I think I came back on Friday, so I was able to go on Saturday. And they were just like, oh, hey, shower? Shower? Yeah, okay, I got you. Shower? Yeah, I'll take care of the shower. No problem. It was just one day. So then the following year, I go and I took my son to go to Montana. There was that issue with traffic aspects. And, get back, and I was tired. I could not, by all technicalities, I did a little bit of driving, a lot. And not forgetting all that other stuff, because the driving was from Lakewood, Washington, out to Missoula, Montana, down as far as either Butte or Anaconda-ish. I might have gone a little bit further. Then up to Deer Lodge to check into the hot springs cabin. Then to Columbia Falls for the Montana Vortex. Then there was the traffic issue once getting into Kalispell. And instead of being able to go to the Tibetan Buddhist monastery, after 5 extra hours, then, went back to the Lolo Hot Springs in Deer Lodge, rested a little bit, then went down to Idaho as far as Arco, and then to Idaho Falls because I promised to take my son to Chili's, and then and then back to Deer Lodge. And then the next day was to Heisey area for those Medal of Honor recipients, and then back to the cabin, and then the next day was back to Lakewood, Washington. I was a little tired. I was a little sleepy. I had a really bad set of headache migraine combinations because part of my head had the majority of my head had migraines, but then there were these little areas where it was kind of like headache-ish, it's borderline migraine, and so I didn't make it in. I'm sure some people might understand why. There might be some understanding as to why I didn't make it in. And so it was like a whole weekend where I hadn't taken care of the showers. So the next weekend when I show up at shower, hey Susan, hey, what's going on? Shower? Yeah, I'll take care of shower. You gotta take care of the shower? You gotta take care of the shower, right? Yes. I'll take care of the shower. We know when you're gone because we don't smell the shower. Okay. I'm glad it's clean. Like, yeah, shower. It's like, okay, cool. Take care of that. Go clean the shower. Do the whole thing. So then, the next part of that year was actually going on the Medal of Honor pickup portion of the trip. Like, the main aspects of, like, the rest of Idaho and Utah and Nevada and Wyoming and Colorado and North and South Dakota, as well as going to Nebraska for the whatchamacallit, solar eclipse. And get back. Before I even got out of my car, when I showed up, we knew you were gone. You did? Yes. Why? We didn't realize how much work it took to clean that shower. No big deal, I'll take care of it. No, let's talk and smoke before you go in. Like, what happened? Okay, well, after getting back from that, it was like 2 or 3 months, and me and a bunch of people, we were outside. I was like, have you seen that before? And they're like, what? I go, where all these birds are coming out of, I don't know where. It's like somebody put them in a farm, and like just kept putting, like, put a bird in, put a bird in, put a bird in, put a bird in. Just get it in there. And then get to the point where it's like, one more, stay in there, stay in there. And then, you know, one day just fly. That was the way I described it, though I didn't do that portion. And it was just the sky, essentially, like where they were at, turned black. Like my skirt. And I was like, or like this. And I was like, what in the... I mean, I've seen some stuff. I have seen some stuff. I have not seen that before. And I was talking with a group of individuals, and one guy just and big gurrar, you know, done some stuff, gurrar, and then he goes to his wife. He's just like, what is that? And she's, I don't know, but okay. Susan, do you know what that is? Hey. Didn't see you sneak up behind me. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it looks like a bunch of birds, and just like I just described. I don't know what. Huh. Why are you looking at me like that? What'd I do? What'd I do? I didn't do that. I'm right here. You see me. What's going on? Hi. Smoke? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take. Do you mind if I take a couple? Like, no, go ahead. I know you need some. It's okay. Okay. No, you're gonna cough a little bit. No. And then he took a third one, and he's like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. Breathe. You okay? Really cool? Sis in the shower. Yeah, I'll go. No. Let's finish smoking and talking. Well, it's only halfway done. So, you know, it won't take me long to take care of the shower, you know that. Okay, and then, you know, others came out and started talking and stuff like that, and look, like, a lot of birds. Awesome. And so, you know, but then, shortly after those birds, somebody had come up to me. I can't remember who, and they were like, so we started getting complaints. What did I do? What did I do wrong now? Like, what did I do? And they were like, well, some people don't like the cleaning supplies you use. Oh, I mean, weren't we just joking about how you could not recommend it, but you'd literally have a picnic on the floor of the shower when I'm done cleaning it? Yep. So do you not want me to clean? So at first they were like, could you try to dilute it? Do you want your shower to be clean? I mean, if you want the shower to be clean, like, I could, like, because I bought when I brought it in and then they initially started ordering it, they had gotten the stuff that was pre-done. It was pre-mixed, nothing, just except for, I mean, I admit, I do my energy stuff, but that's about it. And so, but, you want me to dilute it? Yeah. We got like we got the gallon mixture. I can't do math. Yeah, well, if you just don't use it much. You know that when it shows up and it's pre-mixed, it's like diluted, right? Okay. I'll try. And so it got to the point because I couldn't figure it out. They'd mix it, and then, apparently they still got complaints about the smell of clean. Okay? So then they got me, is it Simply Green? And for like certain things, I could see how that could be not for a shower, not for what that place was. No, not at all. And so I clean, it's like, I don't see the disinfection the same way. So I actually wound up using 3 times as much to attempt to get to what the cleaning supplies that originally started with were doing. I was like, that's like, even if I bump it up to 5, like I could literally go and use it straight out of the concentrate. It will not be as strong. And they started getting complaints even when, in regard to that. I was like, I can only do so much. So in that regard, because obviously I didn't know about the aspects of people stalking me during my Medal of Honor art project and harassing and all that sort of stuff and the techie stuff. If any, by chance, that Christine was one of the individuals who wound up complaining about the fact that I used cleaning supplies to make sure it was clean. Because, I mean, it would be several hours before the event would start. And people would take showers before the event would start. So all of the residual cleaning, would not be there, the scent-wise. And so, the little bit of, powdery-ish stuff would stay. I had it set up so that way, you don't have to worry about that. And, nope. No, I was like, all right, well, I guess I just won't clean the shower, because if they're just gonna complain about, and I didn't realize the Christine aspect at that time, but it was one of those, well, they're just gonna complain. Nothing I could do about that. So, but then, ironically, from the time of when being asked to start diluting, there were certain outbreaks that had not been at any point in time in the location at all whatsoever. And there were quite a few people that I knew over the years that when I would clean my place, if they came over, wow, it smells, yeah, it's called clean. It's called bleach, Windex, Tilex, Clorox, clean. Bet you could could spell clean with those different names. Clean. You might even be able to spell clear and clean, because yes, clean. About the clean. Very much about the clean. There were very few people who ever came over that were like, it's like, I'm not gonna not clean. So in that regard, I have used little bug thingamabobs because of like trying to not have that as an issue. And then like, I mean, cleaning every day. Every day. So I have deductive measured that obviously it's not me. I mean, despite my paperwork stuff, I know that. But that is not me. And I have smelled whatever they're cooking in 725, and then like that scent linger and ew. And then in the kitchen you can smell through the wall whatever they either they're not throwing away their trash, or if they are, they're not cleaning, or if they are cleaning, they're probably using anything but actual cleaning chemicals. And because I am the way I am, ew, ew, gross. I might be cluttered in certain regards and different, at least I'm clean. Ew, just how do you not clean it like that? No. Nope. And in a hospital, you don't use vinegar. Clean. Just saying. And I am so CDO that in the adult lifestyle stuff, I went and got the hospital grade wipes. The purple lid one. Went and found those. I don't remember whether it was on Amazon or eBay. I got a 12-pack of those. The biggest container available. That was me. I saw what Oobie goobies it killed, and I was like, yes. That's what I'm talking about. And so my tools, pristinely clean. All the way to the core. Even of the wood ones, because I knew I had to do what I needed to do. And then after I did that, then I'd UV it, and then I'd go with the wipes again, because, ew. I don't want any Oobie goobies. I don't want I don't want it. I don't want any Oobie goobies that I can't get rid of. I don't want Oobie goobies at all. That is why I have said, I don't want any STDs. I don't want anything, you can't get rid of, because that is exactly what I was referencing. No. No. I prefer to be clean and clear at all times. And ew. That's Oobie goobies. Ew. I don't like Oobie goobies. It's a personal thing. I can speak with people who have, and I'm not one of those people who won't speak with people who have, I will not, no, I mean, I understand that does occur. Usually it has to do with certain irresponsible behavior, but you can learn from it. And so, but depending on the situation, because there are situations where it's non-consensual, and then there's that issue. And so, but, so gross, Oobie goobies. I don't like Oobie goobies. And I know that's not the scientific term, but that's not true. I don't like Oobie goobies. So, that's what I gotta say on that. You have a good one.